Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the English with Neil podcast. This is episode number 122. And the topic of today's episode is how to prioritize effectively. Do you ever find yourself very overwhelmed? Overwhelmed means you have so many things to do and you don't know what to do first. You have to go to the grocery store. You have to pick up something. You have to buy something. Then you have to go back home and clean something. Then you have to go back to work and pick up something. Then you have to pick up the kids. Your mind is a mess. It is cluttered. You have so many things to do. And so you feel overwhelmed. You have too much work. Right. This is a common phenomenon, I guess you would say, for adults, especially when you have kids. It seems like you have 1,000 things to do and you don't know where to start. But today I'd like to give you a few tips to help you prioritize effectively. Now, I borrowed this idea from a motivational speaker by the name of Brian Tracy. You may have heard me talk about him multiple times throughout this podcast because I love his work. I love his ideas. And today I want to share with you a method to help you prioritize effectively and to stop you from feeling overwhelmed, right? Because, like I said, it happens to all of us. But if you have this method that I'm going to teach you, it may help you relieve some of the stress revolved around your priorities. So here we go. This is called the ABCD method. That's what Brian Tracy calls it. He calls it the ABCD method. You can also call it the 1, 2, 3, 4 method. Whatever you choose. Okay, it's the idea is the same, but just the name is different. So I'm going to stick with the original name, the ABCD method. And what you have to do is in the morning or at night, you think about what you have to do for the day. So if you're doing this at night, this is going to be a plan for the next day. But if you're doing it in the morning, it'll be a plan for the day. And on this paper, you're going to write down 4 letters for each line. Line number 1 is A. Line number 2 is B. Line number 3 is C. Line number 4 is D. And each letter represents how important this thing is. So for letter A, you're going to write down the things that are very important that you have to do. I mean, this is top priority. Number 1, you have to do this. I wouldn't call it an emergency, but it's very, very important. So whatever you have to do that is very, very important, you write this next to letter A. And then we go to letter B. Now, letter B, these things are pretty important. They're not very important. They're just pretty important. Okay, so let's give an example. A would be, I have to attend this meeting at 10 o'clock, right? It's pretty important. That's very important to attend the meeting. Then when you go to B, pretty important. So maybe you make lunch, you make plans with a friend, right? You don't have to go to lunch with a friend, but it's pretty important. It's your friend, right? They're close people in your life. So letter B is for things that are pretty important. Then you would go to letter C. The letter C, these things are low priority, all right? They're priority, but they're just low. This might be, I don't know, everyone's situation is different. I'll just give you an example. Something low priority would be maybe it's hard, right? Because everyone's situated. Well, let's say buying a new T-shirt, right? It's low priority. You can buy the T-shirt anytime. That's just an example. But so letter C things are low priority. And last, letter D. So Brian Tracy calls letter D something different. I'm going to change it to my own wording. But letter D things are optional. These are things that if you get them done, it's great. That's amazing. But if you don't get them done, nothing's going to happen. Like there's no consequence for not completing things in the D section. I call these optional. So for example, it can be watching a movie, right? It's like it's optional. You don't have to watch the movie, but if you watch it, then it's great. Okay? And this is a simple way to help you prioritize your day. So instead of thinking about 100 different things that you have to do, you can prioritize them by letter. So number 1, A, are things that are very important. Okay? B are things that are pretty important. C, these are low priority. And D, these things are optional. So give this method a try. I use it all the time. I find it very effective, and at the end of the day, when I look, I go, wow, I completed the things that I needed to, and the things that I don't complete, I move them to the next day. And that's how we can stay effective. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. I look forward to speaking with you in the next one. Take care and talk to you soon. Peace.